In today's video, I will be taking a look at why the GOP is gaining ground in the 2022 midterm elections. I will be taking a look at first how much ground they are gaining, second, why they are gaining ground in basically the generic ballot and practically all races in the Senate and governor's level as well. So I'm gonna first take a look at 538's Senate motto, and as you can see, it is currently 45 to 55 in the Democratic favor. However, this is much better for the GOP than it was about 2 weeks ago. In around October 1st, Democrats had more than a 2 in 3 chance at winning the Senate. Now it's basically a dead heat, which is quite interesting. Previously, they had their motto at about 51 or even 52 seats for a Democratic Party. Now they have it at 50-50. In fact, if you look at this, Republicans actually favored to win more seats than the Democratic Party, which is quite significant news. And if you look at some of the state trends here, this does show a similar picture. For example, I'm just going to go to a random state. The state was Wisconsin. Mandela Barnes now has a less than 1 in 4 chance at defeating Ron Johnson, but that was never actually the case previously speaking. Now, at around June 1st here, 538 had a similar prediction, but at September 16th, or I should say September 13th, Republicans and Democrats were at 51 to 49%, and now it's at 76-24% again. Now I'm gonna show you guys why that is the case and why really Republicans are gaining this type of ground, but this is really very significant news. If you look at the margins, Democrats were expected to lose this race by 0.2%, and now they're expected to lose by more than 4%. This is not just in the state of Wisconsin. In the state of Pennsylvania, it is now basically a toss-up between Mama Oz and John Fetterman. If we look at the previous numbers here, Fetterman had pretty much more than a 4 in 5 chance at winning their Senate. This Senate seat, in fact, 5 in 6 chance, meaning that if Fetterman rolls a die and he doesn't roll a 6, he would win this race. However, now it's basically a coin flip yet again. If you look at the previous numbers here, John Fetterman was at 1 point expected to win the Senate race by 7 points. Now, if you look at this race here, John Fetterman is only at 49.5%, not even a majority, which is quite interesting if you just look at the long-term trend. Now, this is not surprising. If you look at the polls previously, if you just go to the state of Pennsylvania in the polls, I'm just going to show you guys that for the state of Pennsylvania, you can see that John Fetterman is currently leading by 2.2 points. Cool, but he's way under 50%. He was actually at 1 point more than 50%. He was leading by 10.2 points in September 15th and 12 points at around August 10th. Now it's narrowed down to just 2 points. Look at some of the previous polls here. We had a ridiculous amount of Fetterman support. We knew that Fetterman was up by 16 and 19% in some of these polls, and now it's shrinked. In fact, Oz just had his first poll that he's leading in since the campaign season has started. Now, we knew that Fetterman was not going to win by 19 points, but it did look like that he probably would have won the Senate seat for a while. But I always predicted that something like this was going to happen. And Oz is probably gonna be pretty much even with John Fetterman in just like a couple of days right before the midterm elections. Now, why is this happening? First off, is the Roe v. Wade decision. If you look at the Roe v. Wade decision here, I'm just going to go back to the Senate model. If you look at basically when the Roe v. Wade decision was made, it was somewhere around September. It was somewhere around July 25. It's exactly when the Democrats first overtook the Republican Party. And when the forecast started, Republicans were at 60% and Democrats were at 40% chance at controlling the Senate. But if we look at when Roe v. Wade the decision was made, what was leaked, Democrats were being more and more favored. When the decision was finally announced, Democrats were basically skyrocketing to some of their highest chances, 71% chance at winning the Senate. Now, we knew that was not ever true, but it was still interesting to take a look at. Now, though, Roe v. Wade is losing momentum. At some point in the U.S. election, Roe v. Wade was the second most important issue for the average voter. Now it's slipped down to about the fourth place, behind the economy, healthcare, and some foreign relations, and some other of those types of issues. Abortion is no longer such a mainstream issue. And if you look at the U.S. governors here, we have a very similar case practically. For example, the state of Oregon. I picked one of the examples that basically best show how the Republicans have pretty much done well in this race. Democrats were at over 70% at one point in time, winning by about 4 points as well. Now, however, the independent has basically got a huge ton of support, and basically Roe v. Wade is no longer that large of an issue. Democrats have dropped, and now the Republicans are actually ahead in the deep blue state of Oregon. Now, is this going to happen on election night? Maybe, maybe not. But I still think that the Republicans are actually favored in Oregon, which is really, really interesting. And if you look at just the generic ballot polls, it's really been a disaster for the Democratic Party. You can just look at how basically their polls shifted from Fetterman plus 21 to Oz plus 5. That is a 26% shift. Just go to another random state. For example, Colorado. Now, you don't seem that much of an increase, but Republicans are still slightly increasing in some of these states. Going to another state, for example, the state of North Carolina, for instance, Democrats were leading at some points in time, but has retaken the 2.6% lead he has maintained for most of this election cycle. You can see a lot of even polls taken just about two or 3 weeks ago, but now basically all the polls have Ted Budd ahead, and that is really just a general trend here. Again, this video is pre-recorded about 5 days before the video is uploaded, as that's just my schedule at this point in time. However, I do expect this trend to continue all the way to election day, unless something major happens again. Anyways, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and bye!